Go.
Alright guys, what we're having is with the Blitz and the Firestorm is we're having, every time we hit hard on the back, it's actually moving the motor and we're burning through spur gears like crazy. So what we're going to try today is I have some parts laying around, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to use this 2-speed Mod 1 transmission gear from another HPI model. If you'll notice, it's got two little dents right here that actually they look like they were supposed to hold something. We're gonna get rid of those in just a second. So first we're gonna, like everybody else does, we're gonna pop our wheel out of the way so we can get to everything. And we're gonna just see if this is gonna work. It's just an idea I've had, I haven't done it yet. But if it does work, you're gonna be in on it with us. And we're thinking that this should solve the problem that we're having, because we should be able to get the motor to scoot back a few times before we actually get to the point where we're ruining spur gears. And if anybody's looked anything up for an HPI on eBay or anywhere, you'll know these spur gears are like $14 a piece, which is a little much, I believe. So if we can do away with ruining one every time we go play, then we'll be saving ourselves some money. Alright, so here's what we got. And that's just from landing hard one time and allowing that motor to move off of that spur gear just long enough for it to skin the teeth off of it. That's what you're getting. Alright, first things first, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to remove this slipper pad without hurting it, and that's going to be a bit of a task in itself. This is the way I do it. Just be careful using a razor blade. I'm going to say everybody that's going to watch this video is going to be competent enough to use a razor blade without cutting their fingers off, but I don't know that. Alright, we got one side of that loose. Let's see, just for, imagine that. It fits in there perfect. Now, the only thing that this is really going to do is sandwich all this working. It's going to sandwich this gear between it. So, I mean, you're still going to have your slipper. It's still going to allow it to move some if you need it to. And it should still all work correctly. But the only problem that we're going to have is, like I said earlier, we have to get rid of those two little knobs on there. So we're going to move this circus to the garage real quick, and I'm going to see if I can't just cut these off with a Dremel and a cutoff wheel. It shouldn't take too much. And I mean, I'm just going to make them as level as possible. It's not going to be anything crazy great. They're just going to be gone and level as possible, enough to actually set that slipper pad down in there on that side too. Alright guys, we're in Kentucky and it's about 12 degrees outside right now, so we're going to make this as quick as possible. All I'm using is just a cutoff wheel for a Dremel. More or less, I'm just going to melt this off. So I'm just going to go at it easy and be careful. mean, that right there should be, I mean, that should be perfect. That should work and do exactly what we need it to anyway. Just take your time, and like I say, you know, anyone watching this video should be competent enough to use this without cutting their fingers off. If you don't feel like you can, then, you know, don't try it. But if you feel like you can make this work, then give it a shot. I'm just taking a little off the top each time I go so I don't ruin the gear or get it hot. Because I would say this gear is not very cheap either. And no, we don't want to go buy one of these just because we're trying to make this work. A little bit more because it's just a little bit sticking up there. All right, now you see we got them completely gone. They're not exactly flush or perfect, but I believe we can take a little bit of sandpaper and we should be able to take a little bit of sandpaper or, you know, just anything rough. Actually, they're not too bad. I can't catch them with my nail anymore. So I would say the slipper pad's gonna fit in there perfect. If you don't want to mess with it, I would say you wouldn't have to. But let's say you're a perfectionist like I am and you just want it to be a little bit smoother or something. And all this is just an emery wheel for a Dremel tool. It was laying here handy, so I grabbed it. Okay, now, so there's not a doubt in my mind that that right there won't accept that slipper pad. And logic should dictate that it'll work. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in the house. This hole through the center here, I've actually already measured. It's just a touch bigger than the actual hub that it sits on. But I believe after we put the slipper pad in there, and the slipper pad's going to sit in this like groove we've got right here. And I believe after we put the slipper pad in there, I don't think we're going to find any problem, because I think everything's going to rack itself up and it's going to sit relatively center. So we're getting ready to give it a go. Alright, so we're back in the house where it's warm. Now, like I said before, the slipper pad fits down in there. I mean, just almost perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for any better fit, really. Come on. Now, if you'll notice, one side is set back just a little bit further than the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this side right here on the outside of the unit. And that's just to put more of the gear out away from the motor plate. It doesn't really matter, but that's why I'm going to do it. Like I say, it's almost perfect. That is the little bit of play I was talking about, but I don't think that's going to cause us any problem after we put everything on there and snug everything down. Now, if you've ever messed with one of these, you know how this is a bear, so the way I do it is I'll lay that there first. I'm going to go ahead and take that stuff out of the way. I'm going to push this in here the best we can to make it stay if it doesn't, you can actually, if it doesn't, you can actually spit on your finger a little bit and put just a little bit there and there. I know it's sort of nasty, I guess, to some people, but it doesn't fall out. So that's a plus. This side we should just be able to lay together. Shouldn't be no big issue. Wiggle that joker around a little bit till it finds it. There we go. Put our spring back, put our washer back, put our little adjust nut back. Don't lay this back on the table just yet. If you do, everything will fall apart. It'll make you hate life for about the next 10 minutes. It's just easier to do it while it's in your lap, laying on its edge. Okay. So, that looks pretty damn close to me. I mean, it might have a little bit of play in it, but like I say, I'm not completely tightened up yet. And I can put it pretty much wherever I want to. And then the only thing we're going to do is we're actually just going to use a mod 1 pinion. This is a 13 tooth mod wood pinion, which is really close to like a 25 tooth 48 pitch. So I mean, we're just going to use a mod 1 now, and we're going to put it on. We're going to tighten everything down, and we should be good to go. This part that you see in that 5mm shaft actually sizes it down to a 3mm shaft. I got this with another pinion gear. It came off eBay. They're like $10. They ship from China. It's fairly quick shipping. So if you guys are interested in it, look these up. I mean, you can't miss them. They're $10. That's how much it costs to ship it to your door. And I think it took me a week to get one. So the shipping's pretty quick out of China. So that mod's gonna sit really deep down in there, but it's actually gonna work out perfect, I think. I'll flip it over and put it on backwards. Just far enough to get it in there. Now, what we'll do is we'll mesh our gear. We'll spin it a few times by hand. In the next video we take, it'll be actually running. So, and gear's meshed. It's not meshed perfect today. We're actually going to have to use a little bit bigger pinion, but you pretty much get the idea from this video. And what we're going to do is we're going to swap pinions and stick everything back together, and we're going to go run it, and it should work out fine. Thanks, guys. This is the Bash Factory. If you want, share, like us, do whatever you need to do. Thank you very much.